Welcome to Healthy Living Las Vegas with Chef Sharon Fraser, a new type of radio show with an open forum for business professionals in the health, wellness, and financial industries. Healthy Living Las Vegas will showcase the latest health, wellness, and medical treatment options available today. Medical expenses are the #1 cause of bankruptcy in the United States. We know that one major illness can wipe you and or your family out financially. We'll talk with experts in the financial and investment arena and learn how you can protect yourself against total financial loss and ruin. And now, Healthy Living Las Vegas with Chef Sharon Fraser.
Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Healthy Living Las Vegas. I'm your host, Chef Sharon Fraser. Hey, guys, we have a very, very special guest today. I think you're going to really enjoy her. Her name is Erica Harvey, but her pen name is Erica J. Maxwell.
It is.
And I think you're going to love her because Erica is cut out of the same raw material like me. She tells it like it is, in your face, totally raw. And I think you guys are going to absolutely love her. Erica, I'd like to welcome you to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. After reading through her press release and her bio and what her book was all about, I said, I got to have this woman on my show. We're going to knock the socks off of folks here in Las Vegas by telling it like it is, in your face. And the beauty of what I like that Erica does is that not only is she in your face, but then when she's all done, she empowers you to take action. Okay.
Yes.
She's also a coach, so that's one of the reasons why she has this take no prisoner attitude. Okay, she's a coach, and she's going to stay in your butt.
Yes.
Until you accomplish what you told her that you wanted to accomplish.
My clients will attest to that.
There you go. It sounds like me. I tell people, hey, look, if you really would like for me to help you, just make sure you're prepared to hit a home run.
Yes.
Because I'm going to be in your butt constantly. All right. And
I will call you out.
There you go.
I will call you out. I have no problem calling anyone out.
There you go. Hey, listen, I want to read just a little bit about your bio first, and then let's talk a little bit about how we had started a conversation in the green room. We're going to start talking about how we got started as an author. And it's always interesting to share those stories with one another to see what actually motivated you to finally get up off your duff and do something. It usually is not voluntary, okay? Usually we're forced to do it.
Oh, I talk about that in the book, too.
See? We're going to do that. We're going to do that. So let's talk a little bit about Erica. Erica J. Harvey, also known under her pen name of Erica J. Maxwell, is a 38-year-old single mom and a 15-year resident of Las Vegas, Nevada, right here in our town. Love it. She is a director of operations for a chain of bars located throughout the Las Vegas Valley. She is also an online fitness coach who specializes in helping women across the country, fit, exercise, and clean living into their busy lifestyle. I love that because all I always hear from people, I don't have time.
I don't have time.
You know what? We're all given
I have
the
4
same
jobs and
24.
2 kids. If I have time, anyone has time.
There you go. There you go. And we're all given the same 24 hours. It's just what we do.
We have the
with them.
same 24 hours as Beyonce.
There you go. See? I told you you'd love her. I told you you would. She formerly was a facilitator with the Child Assault Prevention Project, which is based out of the Rape Crisis Center here in Las Vegas. And she also founded the Rockstar Publications LLC, which is her own publishing company right here in Las Vegas in 2015. Her unique and in-the-face, style of motivation and inspiration is a refreshing change of pace. She's known for her no-fear attitude and strength. Growing up in Atlanta, Georgia, and being from a broken home that led her down a very turbulent path in her teens, she learned very quickly how to overcome adversity and hardship. Her mission is to empower other women and to teach them how to embrace womanhood. In her own words, grab life by the balls. I love that. She plans on hosting live workshops for women's organizations, and for more information, you will be able to contact her, but I'm going to let Erica do all that on her own. Without further ado, Erica, welcome to the show. So happy to have you.
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
Yes, so happy to be able to launch another woman who is strong, powerful, independent, and also is able to empower. Because you can be a woman and be all of those, and it's all about you. But when you become a coach, it's about you, the other person.
Yes.
It's not about me. It's not about you.
Yes.
We already know what to do.
I tell my clients all the time that they are what motivate me, and they are what inspire me, and they are what they're my reason for doing what I do.
Exactly, because we already have the knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, I try to tell people that all the time. It's not for me. It's not about me.
Right.
I already have it. You're looking for it, and I can help you with that. So real quick, let me ask you a question. When you did your party release, how did that go? Talk to me about
it was
that.
so amazing.
Were you able to launch on time? Same date?
I was able to launch on time. I published the book in July, but I didn't have the release party until October. My sister wanted to host it for me, and she's pregnant.
Okay.
So we kind of had to work around that to get her out here. She's in California. So she had to come out here to Vegas and throw the release party, and it was great. It doubled as a benefit for Safe Nest.
I saw that.
That was another reason we did it in October, was because it was Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and that was the women's charity that I wanted to benefit from it. So, I have some history with that myself, so that's a very near and dear cause to my heart. So yeah, it was absolutely great. We raised some money. I was actually interviewed on the CW morning show.
Yes.
2 weeks ago, I think, and that came from the release party.
Nice.
The producer was there, and she's also an author. And she was like, I would love to have you on the show. And I was like, that's amazing. Yes.
Who was your interview? Was it Crystal?
I interviewed with Crystal, yes.
Okay,
But Tasha was the one that set it up
Gotcha.
for me.
She's a sweet
So
girl.
love them both.
Yes.
Love them both. I gave them both, Tasha already had the book, but I gave Crystal a copy of the book as well when I left. So I hope she reads it and likes it.
Well, that's great exposure, though, because of the CW is kind of like a new station now that
Yep.
they're promoting. It's a spinoff, I believe, of Channel 3. Is that correct?
Right, yes. It was... I couldn't figure out if it either replaced Wake Up with the Wagners or if it comes on directly after that. Something along those lines.
Yeah,
So,
I was confused too.
I think the Wagners were there when I got there, so I think it may come on after that.
Yeah.
So
well, I know they're doing a lot of changing and growth is going on there at Channel 3. So, you know, because people are in different...
It was such a surreal experience. I've never been on television. Well, not in that sense before. I've been interviewed just on the news, standing out on the street. I've never been, sitting down and with cameras on me.
and one-on-one.
Yeah, and, they have all the cameras there, and I didn't really know which camera I was supposed to look at. I kept looking for a red light, but I'm short, so I'm like, I'm like looking around, and then there was one of the cameras that we were speaking to. There was a television underneath it that showed what the viewers are seeing.
Sure, monitor.
And so when she said, what's your message to women? And I turned and I started speaking into that television, and I thought, why does it look like I'm looking at the floor? And then I realized, because I'm looking at the floor. Look at the camera, Erica. Look at the camera. But no, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So, and I had probably 50 to 60 people come.
Nice.
And we raised a lot of money. So it was great. It
Well,
was absolutely great. And when I sent in my donation to Safe Nest, I also sent in an application to be a volunteer advocate for them. And I just got a voicemail on my way here that they want to interview me. It was like almost 2 months ago, so I'd kind of started to lose hope. But I got the call today, so.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah.
Well, you and I are going to hook up at a later date because I do fundraising also. So I can help with Safe Nest
That's
and lots of other
fantastic.
projects and everything. So we've written a book.
Yes.
Okay. And the book is, I have not read it yet, I'll be honest. Okay.
Well, I just gave it to you.
Yeah, so that's my excuse. Did you get that? I mean, I couldn't go look online or get like a, revised edition, but anyway, Erica has written a book. It's called The 7 Steps of Being a Phenomenal Woman.
Yes.
And I want to just talk to you about, we had talked about starting to write a book.
Right.
Well, let's share that story because I'm
Okay.
sure there are a lot of people out there, just like we were, who,
Yes.
people just drive you into the floor if you don't have a book, even though you're not ready for it. Okay? And she has a cute little story I think she'll like to share with you.
No, I get asked this a lot, obviously, like, what inspired you to write the book and where did that come from? And it's actually pretty funny. Have you ever heard of the program P90X?
Yes.
Okay. I did that program 4 years ago. And I had finished it, and I was actually starting my second round of it, and I was all jacked up.
I'm sure.
I was jacked up because that program taught me so much about I'd always eaten healthy, but that program taught me about eating clean.
Yes.
And that program taught me about eating properly and at proper times, and, carb timing and all of the things that you need to do in order for your body to perform optimally. And I went from someone who was suffering from anxiety and insomnia and all these things, and then I realized, wow, I'm falling asleep when I go to bed, and I'm waking up easy, and I'm not exhausted all the time. So I was jacked up. I was there. If there was ever a salesman for P90X, I was
You were a spokesperson.
Yes, and so I was speaking with a guy that I was actually dating at the time, and I was on the phone, and he was asking me why I was so frustrated. And I was like, I had just left my friend's house, and she was, for the, I don't even know how manyth time, trying to convince me and herself that this guy that she had been on a couple of dates with was the one, and giving me all of these reasons why. And I'm sitting there going, no, be your own one. Don't know, because, it's one of those things where as an outsider, you could totally see the truth, but she just did not want to see it.
She wanted you to confirm.
Yes, she wanted me to say, yes, honey, he's not calling you because he likes you. Come on. So I'm venting to this guy on the phone, and I'm like, and none of my friends get it. They just don't understand their worth, and and then they run themselves into the ground, and they don't realize, like they don't understand what they have and who they are, and they're so phenomenal, and I just wish they would just be phenomenal.
Get it. They'd just get it.
Right. And he said, well, you should write a book about it. And I said, okay. So I sat down that night, and I wrote the outline for the book, and I expanded on the outline. So you remember when you were saying that the rough manuscript was done all in one sitting?
Yes.
Same thing.
Yes.
Same exact thing. The rough manuscript was done right there, all in one sitting. I think I went to sleep at like daylight the next day. The problem was, though, I worked on it a little bit over the next few days, and then I shelved it for a couple of years, 4 years, because I just published it. So, no, it was 3 years.
So how did you pick up that momentum again? Because that's tough.
Yes.
That's tough.
What had happened was I was going through my computer, because I bought a new computer. So I was going through my old files to figure out, what I wanted to transfer over to the new computer, and I ran across the book. And I opened it, and I sat there and I read the whole thing. I got completely sidetracked. You know how that happens. And I didn't end up finishing what I was doing. But I sat there and I read the entire thing, and I said, this is good stuff. I should do something with this. And, running around and chasing kids and all these jobs I have and whatnot. And finally, my children leave every summer for the summer to go visit their father. He lives in Hawaii. So they go to Hawaii to spend time with their dad. He has his whole family out there. So it's, it sucks for me, but it's good for them. Sure. And, so for me, I usually get very, very depressed when the kids are gone for the whole summer. It's a very mentally and physically just non-healthy time for me, because it really messes with me.
Right. You're losing, your children are away from you, you're losing control, you don't know what environment they're going to be in, are they going to be safe, God forbid, I don't want them to get hurt.
Right.
And you just don't have them close at hand.
I don't have them there. And when you're a single mom, and you've been a single mom as long as I have, they're kind of everything.
Yes.
So when that gets ripped away from you, when you have them every day for 9 months and then they're gone for 3 whole months, don't get me wrong, the first couple of weeks are amazing. I go and do all of the wonderful things that I can't do throughout the rest of the year. I go visit up with the friends that I haven't seen
in
forever.
In almost a year.
Yeah, and but it always hits me when I'm driving home from work, because I rush out of work and I'm driving home and I get about halfway there and I go, where am I going, and why am I?
Kids aren't here.
Why am I in such a hurry to get there? So, so anyway, not this past summer, but summer before last, the summer of 2014. I was like, okay, the kids are gone. I'm going to finish my book. I'm going to do something productive this year. I am not going to sit around and be depressed. I'm going to finish my book. And that's what I did. And I started working on it. They left in June. The first couple of weeks, I was busy running all over, reconnecting with all of my friends. So I would say probably July, I finally, really dove into it. And I spent many, many, many nights that summer just at home in my sweatpants with my laptop, and I just got it done. And it was so great. It was so great. And then I finished it, and I gave it to 3 different friends to read, because I was like, I'm going to pick you because you're a grammar Nazi. I'm going to pick you because you live an alternative lifestyle. And I'm going to pick you because you're another fitness chick. So let's see what each of them says and how they respond and whatnot. And so I got it done, got it edited and whatnot. I sent it to my designer who lives in Michigan. Her name is Melissa Butas. If you ever need anything designed, she's amazing. She did an amazing job. I sent it to her, and oh my gosh, little did I know how long that was going to take, because that was in August of last year.
Oh, wow.
It took me till July of 2015. It took me almost an entire year to get it designed, and it was not because she did it slowly or badly or whatever. It was simply, she designed it, so she would send it to me. And if you look in the book, there's quotes throughout the book, and the quotes would be in the wrong place and whatnot, because she wasn't dealing with the content. She was only dealing with the aesthetics. And then of course we would tweak this and that. It took us so long to come up with a cover.
I'm with you.
But I love the cover.
I'm with you.
I love it. It's one of those, it's your baby.
Tell me about it.
And it was one of those things where I was like, I want the cover to convey, I want people to know what they're getting into, because I don't want people to open this book and think it's going to be all sweet and happy and kumbaya.
Yeah.
Because it's not. It's very raw.
Yes, I love that.
Very raw. There's some colorful language. It was funny. My editor said, you have to take some of these F-bombs out of this book. And I said, I can't do that, because then it won't be me. And she said, you just got to take some of them out. So I worked on
452, bring it down to 400.
I worked on it for a couple of days, and then I sent it back to her, and I said, I got it down to 23. I can't go past that. I can't do any more.
It's just too clean at that point, right?
Right.
Well, because, in some instances, like we talked about, it loses its effect.
Yes.
You've got somebody on a roll, and you got them all hyped up, and they're all excited, and then you kind of just dribble on down.
And that was the problem that I ran into when I was trying to take some of them out, is I was like, this is the big crescendo of this paragraph. So,
exactly.
And I have found that, with my coaching, if I told my clients, whatever, don't worry about it, it's okay, they wouldn't accomplish anything.
They're already doing that.
A lot of people, they're doing that to themselves.
Exactly.
So a lot of people need some tough love, and that's what I'm good at.
Well, and the beauty is, and I can share this with you, I'm not the coachable type, but be held accountable? Me? Are you kidding? But anyway, when you were getting ready to write the book, did you have a personal reason for writing the book? Was there some...
I was just frustrated. It wasn't just that one friend. It just happened to be that one friend, I was not complaining, that's the wrong word, venting my total frustration at her her inability to see, that she's better than that. And it was just, I've been sitting back and watching, I'm sure as long as we've been women, we've been seeing our friends doing this to themselves.
Yes.
And, and so when I sat down to write the book, it's funny because it was never supposed to be a step-by-step thing. I just wanted to say what to do.
And you wanted to say what you were seeing. I mean, what you were witnessing out there.
I originally titled it How to Be a Phenomenal Woman. And then when I started adding in things and I started sequencing it out, I thought to myself, this makes a really nice step-by-step plan. So that's when the whole 7 steps things came into play.
Rather than doing it as a story,
right.
doing it as a step-by-step.
It started off as a, here, do this. And then, it turned into, well, here's what you have to do, but you have to do it in this order. So...
Yeah, to get the results, which is
right.
what you do in your coaching. I mean,
right,
there's certain
exactly.
steps you have to follow to get the end result.
Exactly.
Right?
you can't skip over parts of it. They're all, and people always ask me, what's the most important step? They're all important.
Yeah.
They are all equally important. I work all of these events, and I'll have booths set up, and people will come by, and I always tell people I should have named it something different, because people will come up and be like, oh, I'm already a phenomenal woman, and they walk off, and I'm like, yes, but
I don't think so.
I can still help you.
Yeah, I mean, you can be phenomenal, but you can still benefit from coaching.
And I joke around that I should have titled it "Get Your Blank Together."
Get your ass in gear or something like that.
Get your shit together.
There you go. All right, see?
Because that's what it is. It helps you get your shit together. But you gotta get it all together. You gotta get the internal, the external. You gotta do it all. So
well, and you probably have experienced it. I certainly have. Those women who and this is not meant as a bad thing, guys, but they just have to have a man in their life.
Yes.
And many times it
breaks my heart.
Yes,
it breaks my heart.
They're just not complete, or whatever their phrase is, and usually the choice is not the best, but it's a body.
They're not, because they end up settling that way.
Of course. It's a body, and it's better, I guess, than sleeping alone.
Right.
I don't know.
And that's, I touch on it several times throughout the book, but there is a really strong chapter about, just falling completely in love with yourself. And once you find that happiness with yourself, only then can you even be ready to take on someone else. One of my favorite things in this, I say this in the book, is I always tell people, I'm like, your significant other should not be your other half. They should accent your life. Your life should be complete. They shouldn't complete your life.
That's right.
Your life is complete on its own, but they're this happy cherry on top of the sundae of your happiness.
Yes.
It's not, your happiness does not depend on them.
Right.
They just add to it.
But as well as I, being a woman, as we're being raised as part of our protocol as being a girl, it's always, oh, look for the Prince Charming and look for the shining knight in the armor. And meanwhile, you see all that, but the guy's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
But he's still a knight with shining armor, or he's got a drug issue, or he's manic depressive, and we don't deal with those issues. We just deal with the fact that, oh, your shining knight will come. And so, as you said, women will start to settle.
Yes.
And if that clock is ticking on top of that,
oh my goodness,
forget it, okay?
Exactly.
If you can walk through the door and you have a third appendage, okay, you're in. That's the bottom line. So let's talk about the need to get this kind of information out.
Right. Like I said, a lot of women will, oh, I'm already phenomenal, and they brush it off. But what they don't understand is, because you might have the health and fitness part down. You might already eat clean. You might already exercise. So chapters 3 and 4 might not be new information that you need.
Right.
But I guarantee you there is one, at least one, probably more than one, that every single woman can benefit from. Because you might be, an executive of a company, and you've got the confidence thing down, and you've got the workplace stuff down, you've got the goal setting down, your why, but you might have insecurities in the bedroom. Or, you might be really good with the health and fitness stuff, but you really don't know what your purpose is, and you don't know how to make goals and go after them, or just any combination of any of that. You might have all the rest of the stuff together, but then you just don't know how to make goals, and that's why it's important, because you might have a couple of the steps down.
Sure.
You might do that, but there's something in there for everyone.
Right. And then being able to put it all together.
Right.
Because you can have all 4, all 5, whatever that number is, but if you're not able to bring it together and then have a focal point to move you forward, you're all over the place.
That's why the book is structured the way it is. It starts off with finding your why, and then it ends with setting goals. So what it is you figure out what you want, and then you fix all the things within yourself, and then at the very end, at that point, you are mentally and physically prepared to put into action how to get back to that one thing that you started with, that why, this purpose that you started with. At the end, now that you've worked on yourself and you've worked on all the different areas of yourself, at the end, then you are prepared to go after what you wanted, what you decided that you wanted in that first chapter. So that's why it's so important that you cover all of them. You can't just skip to the end.
Pick and choose.
You have to do it all. You have to do it all in sequence.
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah, because our tendency normally would be, of course, you're going to pick the ones that you feel the most comfortable with.
Oh yeah.
And you're going to be a superstar in that category.
If I picked this book up and someone else had written it, I would go straight to the clean eating and fitness chapters.
There you go. 'Cause
I
that's
would.
what you
I
know.
would skip 1 and 2, and I would go straight to chapters 3 and 4, and I would read them and go, oh, I already know all that.
I already know that.
And I would toss it aside, and it's just totally the opposite.
Yeah.
But I'm stubborn, so I know how I get it when women walk up and say, oh, I'm already phenomenal, or oh, I already do that, and walk off. And I'm like, oh, okay. I get it. But at the same time, I promise you you would get some. If nothing else, it's entertaining. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, it's entertaining just to read about us as a species and how we operate and how we function, even for myself, I mean, I've gone from one end of the gamut to the other and all around. And I had spoken to Aaron about this last week, is my biggest thing was I never knew what my purpose was.
Right.
I mean, I've done enough business things, been successful, but just empty-hearted, all right? And not being able
Going
to
through the
understand, understand what the hell am I here for?
Right.
Why am I here?
Right.
Then you start understanding, and I'm sure your book, and I'm going to read it, I'm sure your book is going to point this out. Then you start really going and looking at the God-given talents that you've been given. And that's where your passion and your dedication and your coming out, so to speak, comes from.
Right. And another thing that is very, very important that I walk you throughout the every chapter is admitting the things you don't want to admit. There are some things you need to admit. Right. Like women will say, I can't do that because I'm married. No, that is not entirely true. The reason you can't do that is because you don't want to do that.
Right, and you're using that as an excuse.
You're using that as an excuse, exactly.
Right.
And that's, again, we're back to the book is very raw, because that is exactly, like, I don't butter it up for you.
Right.
I say, if you say I can't go to the beach and live as a beach bum and sell T-shirts in Bahar, I forget how I worded it, but something about, if you say I can't do that because I'm married, no, you're choosing to be married instead of going and being a beach bum.
Right.
It's a choice. You have to make that conscious choice. And if you're not okay with that choice, then you have some work to do.
Yeah.
Then you have some work to do.
Definitely.
With your career, with anything in your life. If there's something that you don't, you have the exact life that you want. And if you don't, it's because you're not making decisions to have the life that you
need
want.
to make in order to have that life.
Exactly.
Because we can find, you can always find all the excuses as to why.
In my relationship chapter, that's what I say is, like, you have the exact relationship that you want. I know you don't want to hear that, but you do.
Yeah, and whether it be good or bad.
Whether it be good or bad,
It's kind of like the old saying, you get what your hand calls for. You will attract exactly what it is you put out there.
If you're settling,
settling.
And
you're settling.
There's nobody's fault but you.
Right. And if that settling then turns into other things, whether it's alcohol, drugs, substance abuse, physical, okay, again, you're settling because you wanted that person to be in your life because maybe there are things in your life you can't
And
face
we've
yet.
all been in bad relationships.
Certainly.
And we've all made those excuses as to why we stay with that person. But it's, it's very important to make the conscious decision that, hey, I have the choice. I have the choice to to
and I'm
choose this.
choosing this direction.
Right. Whether it be good or bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We had a conversation like this the other day where it was, I can't do this because of this and I can't do this because of that. And I just went, really?
People don't like to hear that.
No. But like
don't
you and
like
I
to admit
talked
it.
about in the green room, if you ask us a question, please be prepared for the answer.
Yes.
Because you're going to get it.
Yes.
Okay? There's no fluff.
There's no filter here.
Yeah, there's no fluff and duff here whatsoever. So I think I read somewhere in all the goodies that you sent me, you're going to write a series of books?
Yes.
All based on women empowerment?
They're
sort
all
of
for
theory?
women, yes.
Okay.
Obviously, I told you in the green room that I just released a collection of poetry. We're coming up on a month ago. But obviously, that's not just for women. But as far as my self-help series, there will be a 7 steps to being a phenomenal, and I plan to do I did woman, and I plan to do mother, boss, employee,
Oh, nice.
friend, and significant other.
Well, those are all the roles that we have.
Right. Those are all the roles that we have, so I want to cover them all. I've gotten up to chapter 5 of Mother, 7 Steps to Being a Phenomenal Mother. I would like to get it done so that I could release it next year. The good thing is I'm going to use the same designer for all of them because I obviously want them to be uniform. So now she just has to plug in the content. She doesn't have to actually design it again.
Exactly.
So that process will be a lot faster. So it takes a little bit of pressure off of me.
Yeah.
So that, once I do finish it, it'll be a lot quicker to get it actually.
Certainly. So you'll have that design template already in place.
It's
and
already
just plug it
there.
in
It's already
content.
ready. This one was red. I think we decided that Mother was going to be green because it's like Mother Earth, and then, go on from there. And then I'm excited about the boss and employee ones because
Yeah,
I have a
that's-
lot to say about that.
Well, you know what? That's an area that, again, it's interpersonal relationships, and those in the workforce are kind of...
Especially for women.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, let's do this, sweetie. Hold that thought.
Okay.
We're going to take a short break. This is Healthy Living Las Vegas. I'm your host, Chef Sharon Fraser, and we'll be right
Living
back.
Las Vegas with Chef Sharon Fraser. To reach our show today, call in to 702-483-4444. That's 702-483-4444. Or you can Skype us at Vegas All Net Radio. You may also send an email to healthylivinglasvegas@gmail.com. Now, let's return to Healthy Living Las Vegas.
And welcome back, everybody, to Healthy Living Las Vegas. I'm your host, Chef Sharon Fraser, with my lovely, wonderful guest today, Erica Harvey. Erica J. Maxwell as her pen name.
Yes.
Hey, let's continue on. Erica has written a very wonderful book about 7 steps to becoming a phenomenal woman, and it's going to be part of a series of being able to give us ladies 7 steps into becoming better moms, better employers, better employees, all kinds of things, step by step by step, because you know what? This is something that we don't get.
Yes.
All right? We don't get the step by step. It's kind of like you either learn off the cuff or you learn it in the street and you get half-ass and half information.
And there's a lot of personal development out there, a lot of really wonderful, great personal development out there, but there is really nothing specifically for women. And I think that we face a very unique and specific set of challenges that perhaps
Yes.
men don't face. I threw the perhaps in there I buttered it up a little bit, but
Well, let's do this. Hold that thought for a second. In one of your chapters, you talk about, and I want you to kind of expound on this. It's in one of the chapters, it says, one chapter that every man should read.
yes.
And what is it entitled
I was
again?
asked that at my Q&A, and the chapter is called Step 5. Well, I have to tell sorry. Step 5 is relax, it's just a vagina. And that's a body image chapter. It talks about sexuality and, really kind of like having confidence in the bedroom and having confidence just being naked and being happy naked. And I think I advise you to be naked 10 minutes a day or something like that.
No, that's good because a lot of women are not. It's
They're
like
not.
turn out the lights.
They're
okay?
absolutely not.
And then 9 months later, after they turned out the lights, they got a baby, okay?
Exactly. So the next chapter is step 6. Wait a second, it's a vagina. And and that chapter is all about like just embracing your womanhood and just, like stop looking at us as the weaker sex and stop thinking of yourself as the weaker sex. And, that's where we get into, workplace and things like that and really just kind of taking charge of your life. So that chapter is the chapter that I always when men say, well, what chapter should men read? And I say, you should read the wait a second, it's a vagina chapter because you might learn something.
There you go.
Because, it's the power of the V, baby. And, they already know that.
Yeah. But you know what's funny? The other day we were talking about this on one of the other shows. I happen to be a big National Geographic fan. I love animals. I'm not an animal owner because I probably wouldn't be too responsible. But I love animals. And when you look at nature... and you look at the power of the V.
Yes.
Okay. It's pretty strong. Only we just have
very
not.
strong.
Yeah, I mean, it's survival. And
is.
whether it's a female lion that will kill a male lion to protect her kids.
Right.
And it's the same with women, only we have not learned how to use that power, I believe, in a positive way. It's been turned more into a sexual trash. The
yes.
trashier you can be, the better. And, it's like anything else. You don't need the cow if you already have the milk.
The problem is, so many women don't know how to embrace their sexuality and take charge of their sexuality and be confident sexually without damaging themselves in the process.
Correct.
There is a way to be open-minded sexually and to, just
explore and all of that.
Yes. There is a way to do all of that without losing your own self and your own self-worth.
Yeah, or become even perverted. I mean, to a point of, oh my God, this is what this guy wants and I don't want it, but, to keep him, I'll just do it.
Right,
Ugh.
right. And unfortunately, that's how it goes sometimes. It really does, I was having a conversation with someone today, even about the BDSM world and whatever, and, people that don't know anything about it just really have a misconception about it. And I don't think that people get that the woman, or not the woman, because there are males that are subs too, so let me be politically correct. I do apologize to all of you that were offended by that. That was a faux pas. I do apologize. So the sub is, whether it's male or female, the sub is the one that's in control. And a lot of people don't realize that. So it can be very empowering. So a lot of feminists, they don't understand that, it's not what it seems to be on the surface. So,
well, and the other thing too is that once women understand that power and use it the way it's meant to be used, right? Not specifically for manipulation, and not specifically for monetary gain or fame and fortune, whatever. Okay, then the true personalities start to come out, and you do become more empowered by using the tools that God has given you in the correct way.
Right.
I mean, we can look at, the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, there's the power of V, and she tempted him, and guess what? He took a bite. Okay? So, again, it's just learning how to utilize the tools that we've been given. But you know what? As women, young girls growing up, we're not given those tools. There's a rite of passage for boys. Mm-hmm. Dad takes them out, and he might even take them and get a girl for them, or whatever that passage is. It happens for boys, but it does not happen for girls. And the only time it happens for girls is, unfortunately, if they've lost their virginity.
I wrote an essay recently about it, and I've been pitching it here and there, a couple of places. And it's about, the essay is essentially about sexual abuse, but it talks about how a lack of education leads to that. Because if we don't teach young girls about it, then how do they know?
Right.
How do they understand? How can they stand up for themselves? How can they say no if they don't know what they're supposed to say no to?
Or how do they even evaluate that they're not in a good place?
Exactly.
They don't know.
Because any kind of predator is going to make them feel like it's okay or that it's their fault.
And it's consensual.
It's consensual, exactly. So, I really, really, in the essay, I strongly advocate for the people who are against sexual education to really kind of think about that, because, if something were to happen to my daughter, I would want her to immediately know what was happening. I would want her to know that it was wrong. I would want her to know that she could talk about it. And if I was sheltering her from all of that, none of that would happen.
That's right.
So it's very important to me.
Yeah. It's interesting to watch how each person deals with issues that they don't particularly want to deal with. But that's why your service is so valuable as a coach, because coaching in a non-combative way and it's not designed to open you up and strip you down and make you feel like, you're nothing. It's to empower you so that you start to understand where your shortcomings are, and then Erica can work with you on those. Right. All right? You don't have to settle for it. Like
Right.
I was mentioning to you, I'm not the coachable type, but you know what? That's by choice.
Right.
I choose not to want to be coachable at this stage in my life.
Right.
Now, if I continue at the rate I'm going, that's another story. I'm going to need all the help I can get. But coaching is one of those things that it works for everyone if you're open.
If you're open to it, exactly.
It's like hypnosis or anything else. You've got to be
Exactly.
open to receive and understand when someone is able to look at you as a third party and,
Right.
and be able to kind
I
of
have so
break
many.
down.
I wish I had $1 for every person that contacts me and says, I want to lose weight. And I have this they have to take a survey.
Mm-hmm.
It's short. It's maybe 10 questions, I think. It's a little, like online survey. And it asks them, with this and this and that. Because I always, first thing, well, what are you eating? Oh, I eat healthy. And I'm like, okay. So
I know, I hear it all the time.
yeah, my definition of healthy and your definition of healthy are going to, first of all, be drastically different. So let's just start there. But no, and then I have people that will, the more questions that I ask and the deeper that I dig, they become more and more. They just start closing up and
down.
closing up and closing up, and then next thing you know, it's I exercise. Oh well, I already eat healthy. Oh well, you're the one that contacted me.
Right.
I'm not the one that tracked you down and said, hey, you need to do this. You came to me, so obviously something that you're doing is not working. But it's back to the whole thing. There's going to be things you're going to have to admit things that you don't want to admit.
Right.
That's step one. You have to break down that pride. And you have to say something that something I'm doing is not working.
Right. It's not working for
It's
me.
not working for me. So if you're, I wrote this whole chapter on clean eating, and you're gonna love it, by the way, because I'm pretty. Well, the whole book is in your face, but that one is for sure. And I say, if you need to lose weight, then you are not eating properly. That's the bottom line.
Of course.
That's
it.
the bottom line. Like
I say the
exercise
same.
will help, and exercise will change your shape. But if you are strictly just trying to lose weight, that's diet right there.
And I have people, same thing, come to me all the time. I want to do this, I want to do that, and la la la. And I'm already eating healthy, and I'm saying, so which medications are you taking? And well, they did tell me this, and they did tell me that. And I said, well, you know what? In all true honesty, and I don't mean to hurt your feelings, if you're eating as healthy as you say you are, these conditions should not exist.
Yep.
So now that we've peeled the first layer of the onion open now.
Right.
Now let's talk about what do you really eat and
Right.
what is your lifestyle really all about? Because you're not impressing me.
Right.
Like we talked
Yeah,
about, we already know what to do.
I already know what to do, exactly. So I when I tell people, you have to keep a food journal for a whole week.
Absolutely.
And you have to send it to me every day. And usually by day 2 or 3, they stop sending it to me.
Well, you know
and
what?
it's because they start realizing
Yes,
once you have
exactly.
to write it down,
You're accountable. It's
you're
on paper.
accountable. And,
Yes.
and you're realizing that, hey, that little, I grabbed that handful of M&Ms off so-and-so's desk when I passed by it. And, these little tiny things that you don't think add up.
Exactly.
Add up.
I do the same thing. When
And
I have people come in that
I have a cheat meal.
yeah,
You
or
just
people come in
undid
with
your
gluten
whole week.
problems. And they're like, oh, well,
Don't get me started on the gluten.
And the first thing you want to say to them is, you've got to do a diary. I said, because many of us eat unconsciously and don't know what we've taken in for the day.
No.
It was a bag of chips here and some pretzels there and a handful of nuts and
the
cookies or
things
whatever. I
the
only
things
had
that
one.
we drink too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So making people accountable, as you said, is absolutely correct. Making them do that diary. And I said, just give me a week. Just give me 7 days. And like you say, usually day 2 or day 3, you either never hear from them again or I really don't need this because everything I do is healthy. Well, then I guess good luck.
Right. Right.
Good luck.
And
I used to try to save people like that.
I did too. And it was emotionally draining
Yes.
and emotionally taxing on me. It's one of those things where some people are just not ready.
That's it.
They're
and that's
not
all
ready.
that it is. They're just not ready.
Yeah,
The
and
time
it's-
isn't right.
Exactly. We have a saying in with my team of coaches, that it's not no. No just means not right now. So that's what it boils down to. But I tell you what, for every 10 people that just have that wall up and you can't break through, there's that one that does. And
Doesn't make it all worth it.
I have a client of mine who she's lost over 20 pounds, and she's completely changed her life. She has a better job now. She told me she's a better mom. She actually has the energy to do things with her child, and she has so much confidence. She's like, this has affected every area of my life.
Absolutely.
Every area of my life. She said, like now I make goals that have absolutely nothing to do with what I eat or working out, and I go after them and I achieve them, and then I make bigger goals and I go after them. And she hasn't even read my book yet.
There you go.
So, and that one shining star, like for all the 10 that, give up or don't follow through or...
But you know what? One thing I've learned, though, Erica, is, and we talked about this, it's never too late. It's just that the timing. I've been doing raw food and teaching now almost 13 years. And I've had people after 5, 6, 7 years will contact me. And they're like, Chef, I'm ready. Or I'll see students that were students 10 years ago.
Yep.
And it just wasn't the right time. But then when you see them, you don't recognize them. You're like, oh my God, look at you. You're gorgeous. I said, what did you do? She says, I did what you told me. But I just wasn't ready.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Things going on in life or whatever.
And I talk about that in the very first chapter of the book, The Find Your Why. And I give some examples of sometimes people have to have a massive wake-up call. They have to have a massive breakup, or they have to have, the doctor tells them that they have to get healthy or else they're going to die, or, things like that, and then I say, do you need some kind of end of the world wake up call, or, can you just wake up tomorrow and put on your sneakers and do it?
That's true. And even in my case, I mean, I was an overweight adult. And it ended up being that wake-up call was when my mom passed away. Even though I'd been in the medical profession, so on and so forth, it was always for the other guy. It was not for me, because I already knew, I knew what to do, but I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. So again, it was that wake-up call, and it was the fact that her passing is what gave me the passion and the purpose. I said, you know what? I better get my shit together. Excuse
There
me,
you
okay?
go.
Or I'm going to end up just like that.
Yep.
And it was the same with my husband. And we both kind of, shook each other and said, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
The following day after we buried her, it was like, go through the pantry. I threw out everything.
Yep.
Everything. Well, I shouldn't say threw it out, but it went to went downtown.
Right.
And then it was just looking at an empty refrigerator and cupboard and going, my husband goes, so what are we going to eat? I don't know, but I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. And so I knew we couldn't go too wrong with, salad.
Yeah.
So we kind of started there, and then one thing led to another, and then culinary school and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah, coaching is very valuable, and I've seen a lot of people's lives turn around. And I know myself, when I decide to make that conscious decision, that you'll be my girl. Because I need somebody that's in my face, because I can out-talk and overrun anything.
Right.
And I've got all the answers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, who are some of your female inspirations that kind of motivate you and get you up in the morning?
It's so funny, because I made this list when I first did the book, and they said, oh, you have to make a media kit and you have to mail this out and la-di-da-di-da. And I said, okay. And so, but I've met some amazing women over the last month, I would say. And I know them by their online names. So, some of them I don't know how to pronounce, because I've only seen them written down. But to all of my binders, you guys know who you are, the Social Accountability Group. They are amazing women. These women are just changing the world, and it's so awe-inspiring to watch. I just soak up everything from them. They're absolutely amazing.
So you've got people in your team, of course, of coaches.
Yes.
But let's go outside your team.
Okay.
How about people out in the world? Anyone that are like aspirations and
I catch a lot of flack for this, and let me explain why I say Hillary Clinton. It has zero to do with her politics. Let me just say that. She went through everything that she went with Bill and Monica and all of that jazz. And at the time, I really admired her from the way that she handled it. But it didn't really hit home with me until I went through it. And this was years later, obviously. When I went through it myself, I looked back to the way that she handled it, and she inspired me that A, I can get through it, and B, I can get through it with my head held high, and I don't have to resort to
Low blows.
pettiness and low blows and, I didn't have to let it ruin who I was, and I didn't have to let it ruin my life. So yeah, she's a big one, and Marilyn Monroe, because she did whatever the hell she wanted, and she didn't care what anybody thought.
And in those times particularly.
And I love that.
I mean, and back to the Hillary thing real quick, and then we're going to wrap it up here. On that note, I mean, here is a woman, regardless, as you say, of her politics, you have to look at her as a woman, as a leader, having been through, you name it, the shame and everything, and then still ending up being Secretary of State and traveling and being all over the world and putting up with everything. And still coming out on top, whether you like her or not.
Right.
She is a woman of resilience.
She's very resilient. Yes,
Totally.
Exactly.
Absolutely resilient.
And I respect that.
Yes.
I do respect that. I was looking for some books to read up. I don't just blindly pick a presidential candidate to vote for. So I was looking for a book to read, and I picked one that was against her to read.
You have to.
And it really did open my I always do. I picked one that was against Bernie and all of them. I need that to figure it out, and I was amazed. I was absolutely amazed at some of the stuff that she has to overcome.
Oh, every day. Let's do this. We're about ready to wrap it up. Let's tell everybody where they can reach you, email, phone numbers, so on and so forth. And what do you have going on real quick? Anything coming up next, like a book signing or anything?
Well, I am presenting at a wealth creation workshop on December 12th. Stay tuned on my website for the information on that. I will have that up within the week. My website is coacheka.com. That's Coach, C-O-A-C-H. Eka is EEKA.com. And my email, you can just do contact@coacheka.com to make it easy. That comes straight to my cell phone, so I will get it. Everything is on my website. You can look at the articles that I've written that are out there on the web. You can find my blog there, which covers everything from politics to feminism to fitness to health and nutrition, all of it.
Yay.
So, yeah.
You got it. Look, sweetie, I really appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh,
This
I
was
love
fantastic.
this. It was wonderful, wonderful. Hey, guys, I hope you learned a little bit of something. Learn about the 7 steps of becoming a phenomenal woman. Let Erica help you. Okay, contact her and let her help you. This is Chef Sharon Fraser. I really appreciate you listening today. Stay tuned. We'll be back again. This is Healthy Living Las Vegas.